Remember taxis? The yellow cars? The smelly interiors? The experience was often less than ideal. You'd stand on the street corner, arm outstretched, hoping one would stop. And when it did, the ride was often unpredictable. The drivers who never knew where they were going, they'd fumble with maps or ask for directions. It was a frustrating experience for both the driver and the passenger. Uber changed all that. They burst onto the scene with a simple idea: tap a button, get a ride. It was revolutionary. No more standing in the rain or the cold, hoping a taxi would pass by. With Uber, you could request a ride from the comfort of your home or office. No more hailing on the street corner. The app did all the work for you. It was a game changer for urban transportation. No more fumbling for cash. Remember the awkward moments of trying to find the right change or realizing you didn't have enough cash on you? Uber eliminated that hassle. Uber promised convenience at your fingertips. Their secret weapon, the smartphone. It was a device most people already had, and Uber leveraged it brilliantly. Uber's app was sleek, intuitive, and user-friendly. It was designed to be simple enough for anyone to use, regardless of their tech savviness. It showed you exactly where your driver was. You could track their progress in real time, eliminating the uncertainty of when your ride would arrive. It let you pay seamlessly through your phone. No more dealing with cash or credit cards. The payment was automatic and hassle-free. It even estimated your fare up front. You knew exactly how much the ride would cost before you even got in the car. No more surprises at the end of the ride. No more surprises at the end of the ride. This was a game changer. It brought transparency and trust to the ride-hailing experience. Suddenly, anyone with a smartphone could access reliable, affordable transportation. It democratized mobility, making it accessible to a broader audience. No need to own a car. For many, Uber became a viable alternative to car ownership. It was especially appealing in urban areas where parking and maintenance were a hassle. No need to navigate public transit. The convenience of Uber meant you didn't have to rely on often unreliable and crowded public transportation systems. Uber was your personal driver, available at a moment's notice. It was like having a chauffeur on demand, ready to take you wherever you needed to go. The taxi industry, stuck in its old ways, never saw it coming. They were unprepared for the disruption Uber brought to the market. They tried to fight back, but it was too late. The convenience and affordability of Uber had already won over the public. Uber had ignited a revolution, and there was no turning back. The way people thought about transportation had fundamentally changed. The era of on-demand transportation had arrived. It was a new dawn for urban mobility, and Uber was leading the charge.
Uber's rise to dominance wasn't accidental. It was a meticulously planned and executed strategy that combined aggressive business tactics with a deep understanding of market dynamics. They were aggressive, ambitious, and well-funded. From the very beginning, Uber's founders knew they needed substantial financial backing to disrupt the traditional taxi industry. Silicon Valley took notice, showering the company with billions in venture capital. These investments weren't just about money, they were a vote of confidence in Uber's vision and potential. This allowed Uber to expand rapidly, blanketing cities with drivers and undercutting competitors on price. They leveraged their financial muscle to offer lower fares, attracting a large customer base quickly. But money alone wasn't enough. Financial resources could only take them so far. Uber understood the power of user experience. They knew that to retain customers, the service had to be seamless and intuitive. They obsessed over every detail of the app, constantly tweaking and improving it. User feedback was integral, and they made sure to incorporate it into regular updates. They offered incentives to both riders and drivers, creating a powerful network effect. Riders enjoyed discounts and promotions, while drivers received bonuses for meeting certain targets. The more people used Uber, the more drivers signed up. This increased availability made the service more reliable. The more drivers there were, the faster the pickup times. This was crucial in urban environments where time is of the essence. The faster the pickup times, the more appealing Uber became to riders. Convenience became a key selling point. It was a virtuous cycle, and it propelled Uber to unprecedented heights. Their growth was exponential, and soon they were a household name. Soon, Uber wasn't just a ride-hailing app, it was a verb. The brand had become so ingrained in daily life that people started using it as a common term. "I'll Uber there" became part of the lexicon. It signified a shift in how people thought about transportation. From college campuses to corporate boardrooms, Uber had become synonymous with urban transportation itself. It was no longer just an app, it was a cultural phenomenon. Their success was a testament to the power of technology, innovation, and a relentless focus on the customer. They showed that with the right mix of resources and strategy, even the most entrenched industries could be disrupted. But their rapid ascent wouldn't be without its share of turbulence. Regulatory challenges, driver protests, and public scrutiny were just some of the hurdles they faced. Yet, Uber's story is far from over, and their journey continues to evolve.
As Uber's empire expanded, it encountered resistance. The rapid growth of the ride-sharing giant was met with a mix of curiosity and concern from various stakeholders. Existing taxi regulations, designed for a different era, struggled to keep up. These regulations were crafted in a time when the concept of ride-sharing was non-existent, and the traditional taxi industry had a stronghold on urban transportation. Cities grappled with how to classify Uber drivers. Were they independent contractors or employees? This classification had significant implications for labor rights, benefits, and protections. The debate intensified as more drivers joined the platform, seeking flexible work, but often facing uncertain working conditions. Who was liable in case of accidents? The question of insurance coverage became a major point of contention. Traditional taxi services had clear insurance policies, but the ride-sharing model blurred these lines, leaving drivers and passengers in a gray area. The company's aggressive tactics didn't help. Uber's approach to entering new markets often involved bypassing local regulations and dealing with the consequences later. This strategy, while effective in rapid expansion, created friction with local authorities. They clashed with regulators, flouted local laws, and employed controversial pricing strategies like surge pricing, where fares skyrocketed during peak demand. Public backlash grew. Commuters, who initially welcomed the convenience, began to voice their frustrations over unpredictable and often exorbitant fares. Critics accused Uber of exploiting drivers, dodging regulations, and putting profits ahead of safety. The narrative of a tech disruptor quickly shifted to that of a corporate giant willing to cut corners at the expense of its workforce and public safety. Protests erupted in cities around the world. From New York to London and Paris to Sydney, the streets filled with voices demanding accountability and fairness. The protests were not just about Uber, but about the broader implications of the gig economy. Taxi drivers, feeling threatened by Uber's disruptive force, staged demonstrations and demanded a level playing field. They argued that Uber's model undermined their livelihoods and called for regulations that would ensure fair competition. Governments scrambled to update outdated regulations, leading to a patchwork of laws that varied widely from city to city. Some cities embraced the new model, while others imposed strict regulations to protect traditional taxi services. Uber found itself embroiled in a constant battle for legitimacy, fighting legal challenges and public relations nightmares on multiple fronts. The company had to navigate a complex web of legal battles, each with its own set of challenges and potential repercussions. The ride ahead was proving to be bumpier than anyone anticipated. As Uber continued to grow, it became clear that the road to revolutionizing urban transportation was fraught with obstacles, requiring not just innovation but also cooperation and compromise.
Section 4. Internal turmoil. The price of hypergrowth. While Uber battled external pressures, cracks began to appear within. The company's hard-charging, win-at-all-costs culture, which had fueled its meteoric rise, was now working against it. Allegations of sexism, harassment, and a toxic work environment surfaced, tarnishing Uber's image and raising serious questions about its values. The company's leadership, particularly CEO Travis Kalanick, came under intense scrutiny. Kalanick, known for his brash style and aggressive tactics, became a lightning rod for controversy. Pressure mounted for him to step down. In 2017, amidst mounting scandals and a shareholder revolt, Kalanick resigned. Uber, once a symbol of Silicon Valley innovation, was now synonymous with corporate greed and ethical lapses. The company needed a course correction, and fast.
Section 5. New leadership, new direction. Khosrowshahi takes the wheel. Enter Dara Khosrowshahi. The former CEO of Expedia took over the reins at Uber, inheriting a company in crisis. Khosrowshahi, known for his calmer demeanor and collaborative approach, vowed to change Uber's culture and repair its tarnished reputation. He implemented a series of reforms aimed at improving workplace diversity, addressing safety concerns, and fostering a more ethical and inclusive environment. Khosrow Shahi also prioritized mending fences with regulators and working collaboratively with cities to find common ground. It was a slow and arduous process, but gradually Uber began to turn the page. Khosrow Shahi's leadership brought a renewed focus on sustainability, both in terms of the environment and the company's long-term viability. Uber invested heavily in electric vehicles, autonomous driving technology, and alternative transportation options like bikes and scooters. They recognized that the future of mobility was about more than just cars.